Hey, aloha offline sharks. How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the Friday Marketing Jam Session. I'm Tom Gaddis. Got my, look at that. Punching the screen, ready to fight today. Nick Ponte on the call. Awesome. We have a great live show lined up for you. We've got some new things, some new sound effects. It's going to be fun. Some awesome content to talk about. You guys are absolutely going to love it. And with that, Nick, I think unless you want to say something before I cue the intro.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do this.
Are you ready for the fastest 60 minutes of local marketing strategy, tactics, tips, and fun on planet Earth? It's now time. The moment you've been waiting for. After 167 agonizing hours, they've returned, broadcasting live from their island retreats, smack dab in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and now back for a brand new Sharks Live show. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
Ooh, listen to that crowd. I love it. Everybody's fired up out there. I see the comments starting to come in. Aloha, Zach. Cameron, woot woot. Suzette. Welcome, Gabriel. Man, super excited you guys are all joining us today. I have to say I'm glad to be on the show because I've been a little nervous this morning because right after the live, I have to go have 3 wisdom teeth removed.
Yeesh.
Not looking forward to that, but hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's a deadline. Got to hit the deadline.
We'll say a little extra prayer for you.
Yeah. Hey, that's awesome. Look, Suzette says she got another website project and also a logo design. Way to go, Suzette. That's awesome.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
It looks like so did you hear that I believe StreamYard just got acquired by another company for like $200 million.
They did.
And did you update some of our setup here, or was that kind of like automatic? Like it looks like some things have been updated in our dashboard.
I like the color of behind our names. I changed that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. I like what you've done there. I like what you've done with the place, Tom.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, we've been using StreamYard for so long, and today I was in there like adding some new things, and I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that inside of StreamYard, you can have different setups for different brands.
What?
So like you can go in, like we have like different things set up. And so like if we were to use StreamYard for like the Shark Alliance, we could have a whole color combination and branding and all stuff for Shark Alliance. And then you just have a little drop down and you can pick Offline Sharks, and it would change all the branding and bring all the stuff up for Offline Sharks. So you can do like different looks and stuff. Pretty amazing.
That is amazing. Also for like people that are doing streaming into groups, into different Facebook pages for like, value proposition as a business, as a prospector, someone trying to drum up more business. Cause I know a lot of you are doing that. That is a nice feature. So you can switch back and forth between your agency or maybe another brand that you're working with, or between another company that you own. I like those comments. They look good.
Yeah. Yeah. They look good, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. So, hey, aloha, Patty. Patty says, nice is that? Yeah. Awesome.
250 million, David says.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw the kind of like the thing that popped up when I logged in that said I didn't really like look at it too much yet, but.
Well, they deserve it. I mean, how many of you guys, how many of you with us now? I mean, besides the Shark show, how many of you have been on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other streams in the last year since COVID really hit? I mean, streaming really took off, and Tom and I were actually already doing streaming, regular streaming. So it's one of the reasons why our group we were seeing some pretty insane numbers. I mean, the volume of attendance and people that were coming to our streams, especially in like peak COVID, everybody was just at home. But I'm sure plenty of you have noticed that as well. I mean, the uptick in streaming and ability to get content and good information online from streaming, especially through Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think another part of that too is it's come so much more into the mainstream. Like so many more people are familiar with how to do it. They've finally taken the time to figure it out. Like, it's just, it's good. It's good for us as marketers, as digital, service providers, that people are getting familiar with this stuff, because it makes our jobs easier to implement that with our clients and in our businesses.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, why don't we let's start off with our kind of regularly scheduled programming. So why don't we let's start off with some shark shoutouts. So we already had one shout out with Suzette, because she just said she landed a website deal and a logo design. So awesome, Suzette. That's fantastic to hear. This right now, I mean, for all of you that know, like right now, this time of the year, and I know Nick can attest to this, is like, this is prime time to start reaching out to clients, talking to clients, bringing new people in, showing them what you can do. Because, just like everybody in their personal life makes those resolutions for what they want to do there, a lot of businesses now are like, okay, it's 2021. This is where we're at. Let's hit the ground running, right? They've refreshed the marketing budgets. They've got their minds thinking like, how can we do better this year? So it really is the time to be reaching out and talking to people and telling them what you can do, showcasing what you can do, all that kind of stuff that we show you how to do here in Offline Shark. So, if you've kind of been, for whatever reasons, for whatever things have kind of like kept you from moving forward in the past, this is a fresh restart, right? Like we were just talking the other day, Nick and I, about, in football games, when they end the first half, and then the coaches always say, all right, when we go out there, it's 0-0. Like right now, the score is 0-0 at the beginning of the year. So time to start implementing, executing, taking action, and doing those things. And so we like to do the Shark Shoutouts to celebrate that with the people in our community. So our first shout out today goes to, here we go, Jocelyn Wing. So this was a great post for me because, one, it made me feel good to know that someone actually listens to the podcast.
You got a lot of people. That's not even remotely true, though. I mean, give me a shout out in the comments if you listen to Tom's podcast. I know a lot of people. I saw the numbers, Tom. You got some great metrics going there.
We had some good growth on that thing in December, which was really awesome. But Jocelyn actually said she listened to the podcast and then she followed my advice on how to test a market. So she sent out an appointment page to an existing client who's requesting a website review and edits. They cannot set an appointment without paying me first. She raised her hourly rate to $75 and the client paid her. #winning. That's awesome.
Nicely done.
Way to go, Jocelyn. Fantastic. So excited to hear that.
And to you, Tom, that is a great shout out to you. And I know it always feels good to know that when you're, because a lot of times for us, I mean, we don't know what we're saying that's really helpful to who and what and when and where. I mean, we're kind of just spouting off half the time about what's working for us. But, different people at different levels get different things. And whenever you do get that, it's kind of like a feedback loop, right? Whenever somebody comes back around to let you know, that's why we appreciate it so much when you guys let us know whenever you're winning, even if you're not winning and you're struggling, but you're implementing. It's so important to us because that's a feedback loop, right? It's allowing us to know that the information that we're putting out there is coming back full circle and it's reaching you somehow. And so, as we do that, we get better at serving you guys, right? Like, so, I mean, it goes full circle. We help you, you give us that feedback loop, and we get better at helping you based off of that information.
Yeah, absolutely. But, that being said, at the end of the day, it's you that takes the action and does the execution. So, when we celebrate these wins, it's really, it feels good to us, but it's really a win for you, right? Because if you don't execute, that's the key. Executing is really the thing that makes it happen. So, and that's all Jocelyn. So way to go, Jocelyn. Fantastic. Way to go. Fantastic. Our next shout out goes to Jocelyn again. 2 in a row. So Jocelyn said that she's back in the game. She wants you guys in the group to hold her accountable. So do that for her. She has 3 paid spots as of today on her mailer. And this, by the way, is a fantastic looking mailer. I love
Looks
the
great.
yellow in the background. I mean, it looks awesome. It looks awesome. She said she's nervous. I know that feeling, Jocelyn. It's so funny because when you, whenever you're doing something, especially when you're doing something like the mailer where, you have 14 spots we have on the mailer, right? And it's like you're super excited to get out and prospect, but when you sell that first spot or those first couple of spots, then you're like, oh no, I actually have to sell all of these spots. Like the clock's ticking, right? The deadline has started, and you're like, but I use that to fire me up and keep me motivated to go and do it. I remember when I was doing my first one, it was like, I was going out every day prospecting, and I hit this day where like I had closed at least one deal every day. And like on day 5, I think on day 5, I had been out all day and I hadn't sold a single spot. And I was like, man, it was getting late. And I was like, I should go home. The family's waiting for me. But I was like, man, I want to keep this streak alive. I want to sell a spot every day, So I was trying to think, well, who can I go talk to? Like the restaurants were in dinner rush. It was like, there wasn't a lot of options. And I happened to glance up and there was this tattoo parlor. It was like open 24 hours. So I was like, I'll go in the tattoo parlor. So I went in the tattoo parlor and they bought a spot. So then I went home, but I kept the streak alive.
Did you leave with anything?
I did not get any tattoos.
I was kind of holding out to see if you were going to get a shark tat before me. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, maybe you could, I know some of you already have, but tag Jocelyn, ask her where she's at with the mailer. She was asking to be held accountable. She did make this post probably a week ago. So, check in with her right now in the comments, because I know that, if she saw that, she knew that you guys are holding her accountable, and she could chime in to see where she's at. Maybe we could get some good information from her on our end too.
Yeah.
Dorn says, I'll buy your mailer if you get a tat. Dorn, I've already got enough shitty tattoos, man. Don't tempt me.
I think he's talking to me.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, yeah. When we were very first I have to tell this story. When we were very first starting Offline Sharks, we were doing a webinar, and it was one of the first webinars we had done. And all of a sudden these comments started coming in, and Nick had accidentally turned on his camera. He had turned on his camera by accident, and he was in his office without his shirt on. And so you could see his tattoos. People were like, hey, nice tattoos. He was like, oh man.
No, I felt like an idiot because, I'm generally not that that guy, that outgoing, and especially in the beginning, right? Webinars were very, very scary for me, and it's Hawaii, it's hot, So yeah, board shorts is really just like a standard uniform around here, and yeah, I didn't really know how to use GoToWebinar very well, and that happened. So I've heard of worse stories now that we've. Yeah, Tom, your camera does.
Oh yeah, I think my camera's frozen.
I was wondering if that was just me.
No, it's me.
Maybe.
Hold on. Let me switch to my other camera.
Maybe just try re-adding it. That might work.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens. Hold on.
Anybody have any tattoos that they regret?
Yeah, now
hey, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Awesome. Yeah. So way to go, Jocelyn, on the mailer. That's really good. Yeah. Does anybody have any? My daughter always asks me, when can I get a tattoo? I'm like, at the normal age, 35.
Yeah.
Awesome. Way to go, Jocelyn. And our final shark shout out today goes to Devin Atkins. So Devin put a hashtag win, first win of the day, 4 more to go. This was on January 2nd. He got a $252 invoice paid. So way to go, Devin.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more from Devin. We've been talking to him about helping him do some things, and I think it's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see what the future holds. So awesome job, Devin. Awesome job. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Well, Nick, I know we're in the first part. We're in the first part of the show. So should we do some Cash App money?
Let's do it. I was looking at the questions already that Shashan teed up for us. They're pretty good.
Oh, awesome. Ready? The Cash App money.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Is that great or what?
Jeez. Who was that?
I don't know.
Bring me my money. So as you guys know, a lot of you are with us all the time, every week. So a lot of you already know, but anybody that's new, that's tuning in, we do some random questions and giveaways a couple of times throughout the show. So I'm going to ask a question, and first person to get it right is going to win some Cash App money directly. So are you guys ready? 111. Lots of ones. Sandy misses the song. That's pretty funny. Let's see. So the first question is, what breed of pup is Kevin, the Cash App dog?
Tell them to bring me my money.
Ooh, you snuck a Kevin's question in there.
A Kevin question in, but not his name.
No, you didn't.
What type of Kevin?
Kristen
got it.
Oh, yep, I saw it. Where did it go? Oh, it went so fast. Yeah, French Bulldog. If Patches ever hears this live show, he's going to get a little jealous because we're always talking about Kevin, but we never talk about Patches.
Kevin's down there licking his paws. Kevin's a French Bulldog, and he is 4. How old are you? Yeah, he's 4.
Does he talk to you, Nick?
Sometimes.
Curious.
Sometimes.
Yeah, he's a great dog. He goes crazy every time I see him.
Oh man, he loves Tom. It's so weird because he has I don't know if you guys, does anybody have a bulldog? Are you guys familiar with bulldogs at all? It's my first one I've ever had, but they are very, very temperamental. And as they get older, I've noticed he's gotten a lot more stubborn and a lot more protective, I guess. And whenever he sees Tom, he just lights up. He'll start running laps around Tom. It's so funny. I think Tom has treats in his pocket.
I may have treats in my pocket. You don't know.
Awesome job, Kristen. Stick your cash tag in the comments and we'll send you some cash, and then we'll do another giveaway in a little bit here.
Yeah, awesome. And I thought maybe what we would do now is kind of push something up a little bit. Let's do the What's Tom's Reading, because I think this might springboard us into some good conversation about some things and stuff we can do. And then we'll look at some of the questions that we've got in the group over the past week. So this is What's Tom Reading? And you can find all the books that we recommend on the live show. You just go to offlinesharks.com/books. You can see the list of them all there. We add them every week. So if you're looking for something to read, that's a great resource to go check out what we've read, ones that have made an impact on our business and stuff like that. So the book I am reading this week was, I had heard about it before and didn't get it. And then somebody mentioned it again and I was like, oh, I'll get it. And it was kind of sitting around and I was like, I don't know if I want to read it. Like, I don't know if it'll apply. So I picked it up and it was awesome. Like, I freaking love this book. One of the better books I've read. And it really opened my eyes to some things, but it's by someone who's not, well, they weren't originally an entrepreneur. They were actually a poker player, and they were they won a couple of world series of poker bracelets. They're out there, and the book, I'll just show you what this is. The book is called Thinking in Bets. I don't know if you can read that. It looks a little fuzzy, and it's by Annie Duke. And so Annie she has turned what she was able to do in the poker arena into a speaking and consulting business. She actually goes around and talks to corporations and entrepreneurs about how to apply how you think in poker to business. And this book, Thinking in Bets, was fantastic. And I'm always interested in reading stuff like this, right? To see where I can improve my thinking, how, if there's strategies, things maybe I'm not doing. And I don't know if you guys have ever had this moment where you're reading something in a book and you're like, they point out something and you're like, oh my God, I do that. And I didn't even know I did that. Right. And I'll tell you exactly what it is in this book. So for me in this book, it was how we link outcomes to the quality of a decision. And we don't even realize that we're doing it, right? Like we think something through, we make a decision, we take some action, we get a result. And a lot of times we base whether we made a good decision on what the result was. And that's not an accurate way to do it, because you can do everything right. Like you can think something through, do everything right, and still get a bad result. So judging your thinking based off of your results is not a very effective way to see the reality of what's going on. You have to like evaluate the process of your decisions irregardless of the result. But it's so built in to want to take the result and use it to either confirm, or it can go both ways. You can use it to confirm your ability to make good decisions, right? Like you may be going along and you're getting a lot of good results. And so you're like, man, I am like Joe Awesome here, right? Like I got such skill. I'm making great decisions. And then when you make a decision and something bad happens, you go, oh, well, I just got unlucky, right? So like this bias to attribute our good results to good, meaning that we made good decisions, and our bad results to just having bad luck, is everybody does it. And it's really hard to see it, and then hard to really like kind of analyze and get away from it. And so in the book, she gives several strategies to be able to do that. And the strategies are really good. She talks about forming a group, like a truth-seeking group, where you evaluate the process of the decisions irregardless of the results and hold each other accountable, which I thought was really great. There's a lot of other things in there too, but you know, the other classic example she gives in this book that was really eye-opening to me too was the Super Bowl with the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm sorry if I'm bringing up any old wounds for Seattle fans out there. I don't know if you remember the Super Bowl, Nick, but the Seahawks had the ball on like the 1 yard line, and all they have to do is score and they win the Super Bowl. And they've got Marshawn Lynch, the running back.
I do remember.
Out. Pete Carroll decides to throw the ball. The Patriots intercept. They win the Super Bowl, right? So she talks about that process of that decision, and how, you know, she calls it the Monday morning quarterbacking, how everybody was talking about how Pete Carroll made a really horrible decision. Like, what a bad decision. What a bad decision. But when she actually breaks down all of the thought processes and the data that went into that decision, you realize like, oh my gosh. And there are things you wouldn't know if you're not a head football coach or in that arena. Like, for instance, in those situations of being on the 1 yard line in the NFL, a pass in that situation was only ever intercepted about 2% of the time. So a really tiny fraction, like interceptions just very rarely happen in that situation. On the other hand, by calling a pass play there, right? Like Pete Carroll was hoping to catch the defense off guard, but also if the pass is incomplete, which is is one of the things that can happen, right? They can score, they can throw an incomplete pass, they can get an interception. So if the pass is incomplete, Seattle actually gets an extra play. Like if they had run the ball, then they would only get 2 plays. Whereas by throwing the ball, they would get 3 plays. The only thing that couldn't happen was an interception. Like that's the only thing that ends it. So all of the statistics, the odds, everything were in favor of that decision. It was actually a smart decision, but because the result was the worst result that could happen, everybody immediately labeled it the worst decision in NFL history. Like, what was he thinking? Like, somehow saying that he didn't think it through, that he didn't make a good decision. But when you look at his thought process, he actually did make a really good decision. It was actually a very, very well thought out, high level decision. But again, and goes back to what I was saying before, the result wasn't the best result. It was actually the worst result. And so now people equate that process, that decision he made, with the result. And that's how the bias creeps in, right? And you start getting an inaccurate view of the decisions that not only you make, but also other people make, right? It's real easy to look at what other people are doing and you go, maybe they're having a lot of success. I don't know if you've ever caught yourself, you see somebody having a lot of success and you're like, man, that guy, that girl is so freaking lucky. Like, they're not that bright. And like, they're just doing all this stuff. Like, well, maybe they're lucky. Maybe they're not lucky, right? Like that bias just creeps in so subtly. And that was really kind of like an aha moment for me, because I realized I do that, right? I do that. Like I do those things. And I don't really have anything in place to gauge my thinking on that and make sure I'm really thinking in things in an accurate way, which I think when you're an entrepreneur or you're in business, that should be one of our number one goals, is what Napoleon Hill called it, accurate thinking. Like how to look at a situation, how to look at a collection of things and see them as close to reality as you can without those biases or that coloring of your vision in any way, right? Taking your kind of like, sometimes people I think say taking your emotion out of it, where you see things for what they are, not how you want them to be or how other people think they are. And I think that's a skill that isn't talked about enough in the entrepreneur space. And it's super critical. And this book was a really great, one, reminder to me about accurate thinking, but two, the techniques and the things that she talks about in the book are really great and give you some simple tools that you can apply to decisions you have to make, situations you find yourself in, or when you're evaluating other people. You can do these simple little things and get a more accurate view of maybe why that decision was good or bad. And, maybe it was bad, maybe it wasn't, right? But it takes a little more of the bias out of it. So
evaluating other people, who does that? Or comparing
nobody on this call. None of us do that.
Other people, their highlight reel. Who does that? I don't do that. I mean, in the age of social media, that's the only thing that is going on, right? People posting their highlight reel online and other people looking at it and comparing themselves, how well they're doing, where they match up. And I mean, that's never good. But what came to my mind when you were talking about that, Tom, is the concept of the information and that you consume being outside of just digital marketing or outside of just one thing.
Yeah.
Because it's important to get the information that you're talking about right now, because it helps add dimension to the information that you have. If Tom and I only worked with one type of business, like let's say Tom and I only had the experience of working with roofers, and we were going to tell you guys like, hey, we have all these great client getting strategies and we've built these awesome businesses and you should follow us. But our only past experience has been working with roofers. I mean, it's pretty one-dimensional, right? But because Tom and I have worked with hundreds and thousands of businesses, different types of business, it's been really, I mean, that's what we have made our business, getting to know all these different facets and industries and how to make them do better, make more money. And people and that's just in our agencies, right? But in Offline Sharks, we're talking about individuals, freelancers, agency owners, entrepreneurs, helping them drive and make better businesses. And all the dimensions and things that we've added to our, repertoire, I guess you could say, has allowed us to develop some well-rounded skill sets, not one-dimensional in any sense. I mean, we know all about, obviously fulfilling services, but outsourcing, building actual companies, building teams, management, all these different things. So it's important, I think, to, read lots of different things, not just one thing, so you can develop a well-rounded skill set. It's one of the reasons that this is a quick plug, you guys. This is what Nick's reading this week. All right. I'm reading, I'm reading right now a what's it called? A People's History of the United States. Has anybody ever read that book? I hope some people have. A People's History of the United States. It was gifted to me by my father-in-law, I guess you could call him. Mark gave it to me, and it's a really interesting book because it's all about American history in this, what I think to be a pretty unbiased view. But I didn't really get that view in high school and school, and that all of the actual factual stuff that went into the founding fathers and in our country and all that. So I don't know, it just gives you a different take on how you look at things and how you set things up. And again, that's kind of ranting, but a good way to get a well-rounded skill set, which I believe, and I know Tom does as well, that it's Cameron.
I saw that.
Which I believe allows you to do things like charge higher fees, right? You can charge higher fees because you have all of this experience in all these other industries. You've grown your skill set in all these other topics. But if you only do one thing and all you know is one thing, you can only charge for that one thing.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I totally agree with you on reading the other stuff too. And like one thing that a lot of us don't do enough of either, and she talks about this in the book, Thinking Bets, is really taking an honest look at people you disagree with. Not taking a look at them so you can say like, oh, what clowns, what rubes, not doing it that way, which is what you see most of the people doing on social media, right? Like they take the people that disagree with them, and the only reason they're posting about them is to point out like, oh, these people are so stupid, they're such idiots. Like, but really like spending some time with people that you disagree with to like honestly find out, are there any areas where you are thinking the same? Are there areas where you agree with them? Like what things are they doing that are working that you could be doing that maybe you're not paying attention to because you've just written them all off as rubes and idiots, right? Like, and I thought that was a really great point too. Because you can do that with people in the entrepreneur space too, right? Like there's a whole lot of people that totally dismiss people like Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, the quote gurus, right? Because those gurus, they just totally dismiss everything they say based off of a broad label instead of maybe taking a look and thinking like, well, I may not be a big fan of the videos in front of the Lamborghini and the Ferrari and all that stuff, but more than likely there's some processes, some systems, some things, some ways they think about things that would be very useful to you if you just ignore kind of that other stuff. It's sort of that take what can help you and leave the rest, right? Like take what can help you and leave the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. So I hope you guys check out the book.
Like that book I'm reading.
Yeah. Well, I like Jordan said, second guess your decision based upon data, not outcomes. Like, because we're always going to second guess ourselves, right? Yeah. That is one of the things, Jordan, she talks about in the book, is how this can help you get over that, of where you can say, okay, well, I feel pretty confident I made a good decision, even though the outcome, it can help kind of take the sting out of that, right? Because a lot of times you do something happens and you go, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Like, well, maybe you should have, maybe you shouldn't have. Yeah. Pretty awesome. All right. So let's do a couple. There were some good questions that I see in the show notes here. Popular questions asked.
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions while we're here, make sure to drop them.
Pop them in. We're trying to kind of structure the live shows with more space and time to take your questions, to talk about things you guys want to talk about, and maybe even talk more about some tactical stuff So we're kind of tightening up the shout outs, tightening up some of that other stuff so we can spend more time doing that. So if you guys have questions, definitely pop them in. I know in the Facebook group on the second, Zach, he asked, what do you do when you have a client that has an eye on a website design, but you want to build the client's website more up to date and professional? So he has a client wants his website to look like, and he gives a list, but in Zach's opinion, it doesn't look good at all. And I think, Nick, you might have some good insight on this. Like somebody comes in and they say, hey, I want this website. And you're like, inside, you're like, ooh, that's like not a good site. Like, how do you deal with that with clients?
So I usually try to, like, if that were to happen to me, and it's happened many times before, I usually try to give my feedback once and say, from my experience, I would point out a couple of things of why I don't think that is good from a functionality or usability standpoint. Also considering the goals of the customer, right? If somebody's coming to you to do a website redesign, it might not just be that they're trying to build a new website just for building a new website. They might have some thoughts, right? They might be trying to run ads to the site. They might be trying to do search engine optimization. They might be trying to get an e-commerce store mapped out on their site, which they don't have already. So you have to consider those goals. And I actually had somebody a client just last night email me, and they had a domain that they thought would be valuable for search engine optimization, right? They'd buy this domain, somebody else owns it, and they would buy it and it would be valuable for them. However, this domain has no history. It's kind of a good keyword, but it's not that great of a keyword. But it's not like an expired domain that you could go build a site back on and transfer all the SEO juice over to your site or any of that stuff. There's no relevance for it, and there's not a lot of people searching for it. So there really is not very much information there. So my strategy there is the same strategy here, where I point out, like, your goals are to get more customers right now. I don't think by buying that domain, you are going to get closer to that goal. So in the same way, if somebody shows me a crappy looking website and they're like, I want to build it this way, I would say, your goal is to build an e-commerce store, and this site doesn't really have an e-commerce store, or the one that they are showing, it doesn't allow, like, you can't, I'd point out some of the things that don't look great about it. Like maybe you can't access the product information quickly, or maybe there's a lot of bloat to it, right? But you have to kind of hit what you think isn't good about it and tie it to what their goals are. And if they say no, because a lot of the times that happens, right? They have their eye on something specific and they really want it, and no matter what you say, it doesn't matter, then you've already tried and it's documented, right? You have it in an email somewhere that you sent. So if you follow their instruction and do what they want, and you go back and later on, they're like, why did we do this? This sucks. This website doesn't work, or whatever. You can say, like, look, I told you it's not, this is what you wanted. I'm just doing what you told me to do. I wouldn't turn down the job and say, I'm not going to build it for you, if that's exactly what they want and they're very specific about it, right? If that's what they want and they're going to pay me and I think it's still going to be a good gig, I do it. Sometimes you have to quiet your inner critic on that stuff, but I do it one time. I give them feedback one time.
Yeah, well, I know Zach's on here, so hopefully Zach, you got something out of that. And I know Zach said he basically asked if you wanted more customers, but no response. We'll see. We'll keep us updated on how that goes, Zach. But I think some of the things that Nick just laid out there would be, that's a great plan of action, right? Let them know once, and then if that's what they want, move forward with it. Yeah, let's see. So Anna said, Tom, you were talking about a lady that will show us PR in January. Who is she, and when will she come on board? So Anna, this is actually a lady that Dorn introduced me to, and I had a great conversation with her. And I can't remember if it's in January or February. I have to actually follow up with her pretty soon. But her name is Faith McKinney. And so she published a book in, when did this book come out? 2013. And it's called, this will be a bonus book. It's called Schmingling. Schmingling.
Schmingling.
Schmingling. It's schmoozing and mingling, but it's called schmingling.
I like it.
Yeah. And what Faith was able to do was really like unbelievable. She was actually working as a janitor, and she had an article posted on the Wall Street Journal. Like they did an article on her. So she talks about how she was able to do that, right? What the strategies that she used. She was able to get published in a lot of other places as well. So yeah, so this, I got connected to her through Dorn, because Faith is also, interestingly enough, she also works for the U.S. Postal Service. And she is, for those of you that are doing CCSU, you'll want to know this. There are actually sales reps that the post office has in territories. So they're not in the actual post offices. Like you can't go to your local post office and be like, hey, I want to talk to the sales rep. They usually don't know who they are. They're employed by the higher up post office, but they give them territories in all over the country. And their job is to go to businesses and sell them on doing direct mail. They don't actually do any of the fulfillment. Like they don't have products. They can't do any of the design. They don't do any of that. But their job is to just go to businesses and say, hey, have you ever thought about doing every door direct mail? Have you ever thought about doing, the stuff that the post office does, right? And then they can recommend people to help them. And so if you can ever find one of these reps, they are like golden, because you're supporting what they're doing. Like they're trying to get people to do every door direct mail, and that's what you do, right? So I can't really give you any advice on how to find them, because they're just kind of out there. You may have to ask around. You might be able to check with your post office. There's no real place you can go to see. But Faith also, that's what she does as well. And so we're going to have her on to talk about that with CCSU people at some point as well.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe Faith has some more information, and of course, I'm sure she does.
Yeah. I talked to her about doing those two things, coming on about the PR, and then also coming on about the, what the sales reps do and how you could best, like, if you're able to locate one, what would be the best way to approach them, and how could you support what they're trying to do? So she said she'd be down to do that. So
nice connection, Dorn.
Yeah, thanks, Dorn. She's really super, super nice lady, super smart. Like, it was really great talking to her. Yeah. Dorn says Faith is the shiznit. Darla, CCSU is the Coupon Cash System Unleashed. That's the course where we teach how to do the mailer and all that stuff. Yeah, let's see. So here's a question from Gabriel Nick. He said the PPP program will get restarted next week, and it'd be good to inform current or potential clients about it.
Yes, that's a great idea, Gabriel. We are already working on our different ways that we're going to put out some information on it. I think one of the best approaches for this, because PPP for a lot of people means loans. There's a couple of things, right? Loans for different business structures. It could mean compensation for employees, different types of employees, depending on how the business is structured, but also loans. So some businesses that are really in need of getting more customers could really benefit from running a paid ad campaign, right? That could be really helpful to them to bring more butts and seats in their businesses. But there's a big difference between the PPP program and the like grant money that goes out, right? Because the grant money isn't money that really has to pay back or be paid back. I mean, at least the money that we're helping businesses get access to, they do not have to pay it back. So that is the people that are getting access to that are much more, the scope of the things that they need is much more broad, because number one, they don't have to pay it back, right? They're just getting the money and they want to add some more infrastructure to their business, or they want to pivot, or they want to adjust or add on to. So think business that has no search engine optimization, they're not ranking in Google at all. They go get the grant money and they hire you to help bring them up in search. They don't ever have to pay it back. It's really just kind of a reinvestment back into their business. But with PPP, a lot of the times these are loans, so they are things that are going to have to be paid back. And I don't really feel good about telling people to take out a loan unless what I'm going to be doing for them is something that can help them pay that loan back. Not always the case, but mostly the case, especially if you consider the intention behind the PPP program. So it is good to let people know, and we're continuing to do that through our agency growth machine, our influencer site, and the list that we've been building, which has been doing really well. Especially right now, it's performing as very consistent as we've been talking through the last year. So being able to talk on these or touch on these topics that are very relevant as they come out, it just positions you as being somebody that's helping the community even more. And again, people come to you asking for help just because you're doing this.
Yeah, awesome. I saw Cameron said on here too, and this related to the rep. He said there is a USPS employee database that you might be able to find if you're a good Googler.
A good Googler.
A good Googler.
One of our Google reps always calls the higher ups at Google the Google overlords.
James says, as USPS carrier delivering mail now, ask your carrier to submit your name business. Then the sales rep would call on you, right? It's an awesome tip. Yeah, to the salesperson. Yeah, nice. That's great. Let's see here. Zachary says, I also had another inquirer contact me Sunday evening about a website plus logo project. We agreed on a price, and then the contract should be signed by this weekend too. I will also be receiving a monthly payment as well. Awesome, Zach.
Nice, Zach.
That is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and Rob, yes, the protection. What is that? PPP? It's the
PayPal protection program. Paycheck, sorry, not PayPal.
I couldn't get PayPal out of my head. That's why I was like, I don't think that's right. But
well, the reason is because a lot of PayPal is facilitating a lot of that for people.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, I think it's about that time in the show when we need to announce our member of the week. Yeah. And every week, our team and Nick and I, we pay attention to the Facebook group. We see who's in there, who's posting, who's really delivering value, who's really supporting the community. And we pick one lucky person to be the Offline Sharks member of the week. And then we send them a special Sharks gifts. We got some things we've been working on for that. So really, it's an awesome prize to get. And our member of the week this week, I don't think they've won member of the week before.
Nope. First timer.
First timer, a first time member of the week, Devin Buse. I hope I said your last name right, Devin. Congratulations. Sorry, Nick, I was slow on the applause there. Yeah. So Devin, our team will be reaching out to you to get your info so we can set you up with a special Offline Sharks gift. And we really appreciate your contributions to the Facebook, your comments, asking questions, and responding to the post by other Sharks. So thanks so much for making the Offline Sharks community what it is. I mean, you guys really are the backbone of it, right? Getting in there, helping each other out. We love to see all that. So congratulations, Devin, member of the week. Nice. Yeah. If you guys could tag Devin, hit the little @ sign and tag his name, because we are in the group. We're like Tom mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we're kind of restructuring the live a little bit. So we're going to really only stream the live within the group. So you guys should all be able to tag Devin, congratulate him, especially if he's helped you out over the last week. We want to blow up his feed and make sure that he knows that we're appreciative of him sharing his information with us and getting back to help the community. And so the other thing that I want to mention too about that, though, that I mentioned is by streaming in the group, you got to be in the group to get the stream. So, we have the best Facebook group out there with people that are actively getting clients in local marketing. So we want to keep it that way. And we want everybody that's doing that to be in the group. So we're going to be a little more protective of our information and share it with just you guys. And we're not going to be putting it out there like we were before,
But as members of the group and people that are here, we want you to have access to it. So we want to tag Devin too, congratulate him. Also, you guys, if you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure to hit the like button on the stream. It's going to help let all the other sharks know that we've had a great live, that we've got a lot of good questions coming in, that we're talking about topics being answered, and they can get some good information on that too. So by liking the stream, it shows up a little higher on their feed. Appreciate that.
Yeah, as I always hear when Sophie's watching YouTube videos, smash that like button in the face.
Smash it. Smash.
Always corrects me up when I hear that. Awesome. Well, congratulations, Devin. Super excited to see you get that award.
I know, Gabriel. So here's the ask right here. Come on, you guys. 12. In order to we're gonna do another Cash App giveaway in a little bit here, but I want to see some. There's only 12 likes on the stream so far, and
well, now we've got 18. That's good.
Well,
there's like 60 over 60 people on here.
Come on, you guys. We need some support.
Help a brother out.
There shouldn't be multiple streams. I thought we set it up differently this time.
I don't know.
I hope
Maybe. There we go. We're up to 21. That's good.
Okay.
As I see 29. There might be a lag on our end. that very well could be possible.
Dorn Brenton with the angry face.
I see 33. Awesome. Sweet.
Dorn.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. We should do another Cash App giveaway and then wrap up with any last minute things for the week.
Let's do it.
Cool.
All right, you guys.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Give me my money. Do it, Nick.
All right. The next question is, first one who gets it right. You better get this one right. Who is the most recent guest on Tom's podcast? What's the secret? Hey.
Oh, that's a good one.
What are you laughing about in there?
That's a good one.
She says, I know this one.
L, you're not eligible. L isn't eligible. Hold on, where was I getting here? Okay.
Anna. Nice,
yes,
Anna.
Got it. Mr. Nick Ponte.
I appreciate it, Anna.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't watched that listened. I'm so used to doing YouTube videos.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that episode yet, it was the first time I've ever been on Tom's podcast, and we talked a lot about some really good information. It's probably a good time to talk about this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because we talked about specifically building an all-star team, right? How to bring people in to help you do what you want to do.
Let's ask the group, though. Is anybody here I'm curious, how many people do you have right now on your team? I'm talking contractors, VAs, employees. Do you have one person helping you, 0 people helping you? Let me know in the comments. I want to get a feel, because I know we talk a lot about building a team. We talk a lot about outsourcing, whether it's fulfillment, whether it's your email or graphic design. Dorn says he fell asleep listening to it. Dorn, it's probably because I had such a good feedback, I had such a good one, Dorn. I had to just bite my tongue there. I'll private message it to you later.
That was awesome. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow there.
No, it's funny. It's good. So, okay, Zach has 3. Awesome, Zach. Art has 1. Jacqueline has 3. Kristen has 1.
Dorn has
Jeffrey
37.
Yeah, Dorn has 37.
Real 2. Jacqueline has a couple. And if you don't have any people helping you right now, that's okay too.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like to point out is when you're thinking about what maybe you think, I can just do it all myself. Maybe I don't need anybody. But I think there's really 4 important questions to ask yourself about the outsourcing team and where you can use people on your team. One is, if you're trying to figure out, what could I use somebody to help me with? The first question is, what am I really good at? Right? Like write out what you're really good at. The second one is, what what am I really good at? What should be getting done that I'm not doing, right? But that I'm not doing. The other one is what do I not like to do, right? Like, what is your equivalent of getting 3 wisdom teeth pulled out in your business, right? I don't like to do that. I don't want to do it. Like, what is that thing? And then the last one is, what are the things that should be getting done that I don't know, and they're not getting done because I don't know how to do them. So the first one, what do I do really great? The second one is what is not getting done in my business that would really be like, but it's something that would be moving the business forward, right? Like, it's something important, but you're not doing it for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. And then obviously, what do I not like to do? And then also, what am I not doing because I don't know how to do it? The answers to those 4 questions will give you really good guidance on where bringing in somebody to help you, an outsourcer, could really help you take whatever it is you're doing to the next level, or to finally get you getting some motion and execution on those things that aren't getting done. If you're new to outsourcing, one thing I would recommend is start with one of the things that you do really great. And that may sound kind of counterintuitive. You think, well, if I'm already great at it, why would I want to outsource it? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, because and this applies if you've never worked with an outsourcer before. One, because you're comfortable with the topic. So when you bring somebody on, you're going to be able to effectively teach them how to do it. Plus, it's going to get you to develop a SOP, a standard operating procedure for this thing you're really great at. And now you're going to have another person that can do it exactly the way you want it done, because you've got this thing dialed in. Now, when you have that person doing that thing, you're all of a sudden freed up to focus on those other things. What are the things that should be getting done that aren't, right? For whatever reason, or what are the things you don't know how to do? Now you have some time to go learn those things, or something like that. So that's a really great place to start if you've never worked with an outsourcer before. And there's some other strategies and things. It's actually one of the things that we talk about in our private coaching. And Jacqueline went through the private coaching, and that's where she got her team members and started working with outsourcers. But we go through that whole process from beginning to end of walking you through how to build a team.
Yeah. So if you guys want more information on that, maybe we could ask you to just put a comment in the.
We actually have a link too, Nick.
I don't want to do a link. I want to do a comment.
Okay. All right.
Let's do
a comment.
Put that in the comments, and then we will send you some more information. I'm sure you guys might have seen some of the stuff that we've been putting out about this. It really is one of the most valuable skills. I mean, Tom and I when we came up with this, we thought and kind of brainstormed what would be the most valuable skill that we could share and teach everybody to do. And if we could give them as much access to us as we possibly could, what would that be? You know, how could we do that? And we landed on the most valuable skill that we thought, which is building a team, outsourcing, and being able to do it without putting any money down. So if you guys are interested in learning more about how we're doing that, just in the comment, type in at coach me, or coach me, just say coach me. And we will reach out to you and let you know how you can get more information about this. Art, it's funny, Art says that there's a strategy to everything.
Yeah, well, and that's because Sandy brings up a good point. And this happened to me early on too, right? It seems hard to find a good person to bring on your team. But really, when you have a process in place, when you have a standard operating procedure for how what you put in your job postings, how you handle the people that respond, the process you walk them through is really a vetting process, right? And that is one of the big key things that we go over on there, as exactly how we do that, because we don't have that problem today, right? Like, in fact, we were just on our support team huddle earlier this morning, right, with the team, and all of those people on that huddle have have been with us for over a year, right, Nick? I think
yeah.
the youngest one is a year. But that's a direct result of the process that we have in place, right? And so that's really the key to it. Like having that process, knowing those things to do, what to look for, how to vet people, and that's really what our program is all about. Is you being able to feel comfortable and having the confidence to do those things because you have us there to handle anything that happens, right? And you can bounce questions off of us and walk through the process and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely type in Coach Me if you want more info and we'll get it to you.
Yeah. I mean, our team, like we're regularly, because our companies are growing so fast. We're regularly adding people. And as you scale, one of the things you guys will find out is the more great, awesome, intelligent people that you can bring onto your team, the more your company's going to grow, the quicker it's going to grow. And the fastest things that I would hire for are the things that you're not very good at. So like Tom mentioned, what are the wisdom teeth? What is it that you're doing in your business that feels like getting your wisdom teeth pulled, which Tom, you're about to go get.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Don't remind me.
That's what I would do first and go through our experience because we have been burned. We've been burned in probably all the ways that you can't. I mean, I could be wrong, but I also probably would be surprised. But if you could imagine having somebody to take you through that process and save you from going through that and showing you where to uncover all the gems, how to uncover all the gems and do all of that, that's what this is. That's exactly what this is. So
yeah, well, and what Nick mentioned there is so important too, because, sometimes you look at what we're doing and you may think like, wow, you guys are so smart. How'd you figure all this out? It's like, well, the reason we figured it out is because we got burned and we're like, well, we don't want that to happen again. Like we have to figure out a better way to do this. And that is really, that is one of the key ways that you get good at something and you get solid systems in place is going through those experiences of it not working out, of things not going well. And we've done that. And then we can walk you through that so you don't have to go through that as well.
Shorten the learning curve. That's what that's exactly what it is. Shorten the learning curve. And it's funny because Tom and I didn't have somebody to show us this when we were first trying to do it. So the amount of times that we failed, and we know where the friction points and the sticking points are. So, just keep that in consideration. Like all of our training, we leave no stone unturned, and we're excited to have as many of you as we can possibly take. We're not going to, it's not something that we do all of the time. It's only every now and then, and we can only take so many people. So, all of the people.
Yeah, the reason we can do that is because there's a lot of direct access to us, so we can just take a small number of people.
Yeah, it's our flat. I mean, you're working with us. It's our most intimate training. So, yeah, all of those people that have typed in Coach Me, we're going to get you more information and look forward to talking with you more about it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, man, this has been another great live show. You guys had great questions, great interaction. Congratulations to Devin, our member of the week. Congratulations to our Cash App winners. We really appreciate you guys taking time on this Aloha Friday. Oh, for those of you that don't know, Aloha Friday is a thing here in Hawaii. We finally decided to add it to the title of the jam session. But thanks for joining us on this Aloha Friday. Have a safe rest of your day. And we will see you guys next week. Same Shark channel, same Shark time. Aloha, everybody.
You've been listening to the Sharks Live Show, your weekly local marketing jam session. Every week, packed full of local marketing strategy, tactics, tips, and fun. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. And we hope you had fun along the way. We know we did. Don't forget to leave a like on this stream. Drop a comment below and share it with anyone you think might find it useful. And if you're not already a member of the most valuable marketing group on Facebook, head over to offlinesharks.com/group to join right now for free. There's more exciting new marketing info coming at you throughout the week. Nick's YouTube video on Sundays. at nickponte.com/YouTube and Tom's weekly podcast called What's the Secret, with a new episode each Tuesday at tomgaddis.com. And then back here next Friday for the Sharks Live Show. Till then, this is the Sharks Live Show, signing off.